Couple of, was it weeks, months ago, something like that, I did a video about my handheld choices where I discussed what handhelds I used and liked and would carry around with me. And there is one handheld that, had I had it then, my final choice would have been very different. To coin an old phrase, I got this. And what the hell is this? Because it is not a Nintendo 3DS, which might be what it initially looks like, because that's a Nintendo 3DS XL. They are a very similar size and form factor, as you will see. This is a GPD XD handheld Android gaming thing. Tablet, if you like. What can I tell you about this? It comes from China, GPD Gaming Digital something. I read it once recently and I can't remember. I will tell you some specifications. I kind of personally don't give a damn about specifications, but some people do, so here we are. It has a Rockchip RK3288 quad-core CPU. I don't actually know what speed it's running at, but meh. 2 GB of RAM. This particular one has 32 gigs of storage. There are 16 gig, 32 and 64 gig versions for obviously different prices. And there's a micro SD card slot. This one has a 128 gig micro SD card in it, which is lovely. There is HDMI out, 5-inch 720p IPS screen. I don't know what IPS stands for, but it looks lovely. It's running Android 4.4.4, KitKat basically, if such things interest you. Personally, I've used multiple different versions of Android and I like all of them. I can't really tell the difference once I put the you know, standard screen like that basically. It comes with a different launcher than the one you will see here. It's called Metro, I think. It's kind of a little bit like Windows 8 in that it was horrible and I didn't like it, so I switched to a standard front end like that straight away. It also came with a whole load of stuff pre-installed, like Happy Chick, which is it's like a front end for a set of emulators, which you pick which ones you want and it auto installs them, and it's kind of got file sharing of games, or you just download them out of the cloud, or whatever. You see a game you want it, you download it, blah. The first thing I do is get rid of that, because I didn't install it. I don't know what it can do or not do, front end, back end, whatever. I'm like, I don't trust it, I get rid of it. It might be absolutely fine. I don't want it. I only want the stuff that I've installed myself. So that was the first thing to go. Other than that, words. I'm going to have to show you, I'm going to have to set this up in the other room to show you what it's like. First of all, we'll have a look at the hardware itself. You've got 2 analog, they are sticks, they're not nubs, you get a bit of an angle on them when you turn them, which is something you don't get on the 3DS. That is a nub, that stays completely horizontal and flat, and it works alright, but these are better. You've got switches and buttons that I can't read from here. What have we got there? Select, start, home and back. Your standard face buttons. They've got on them like the letters or the symbols for the Xbox or PS3 kind of controller. These buttons here are the equivalent of if you were pressing the stick, like L3 and R3, and you have your L on the back. You got your L1 and R1 and L2 and R2 buttons here. These are a little bit awkward to get at, actually. I don't like them, but given that the whole thing is so slim, what are you going to do? More buttons. Struggling to see. Okay, volumes up and down. That is, I don't know actually what you call that, but I pushed that to take me back to like where all the things I've got running are and turn off the stuff I don't want. And that is your Joypad configuration thing, which brings up this. What that does, a lot of Android games, and indeed emulators, were designed to run on tablets and phones, and so they have touchscreen controls, which are horrible, and who really wants to use them when you've got physical controls? But frequently the software wasn't designed to use physical controls. So what you do with this is you push the button, you get your representation of say your sticks or your D-pad or whatever, and you move them onto the on-screen controls in the game, and then you hit save, make it all go away, and basically it maps these controls onto the on-screen representations in your game or emulator, and then if you're lucky, they will allow you to make those controls invisible, and you just then play you play it like a normal console handheld type game with the physical controls, and it's all quite seamless once you've set it up. It sounds confusing, but really it's not. You'll just have to take my word for it or buy one and find out for yourself. The JXD 7800 does the same thing. I would say this does it a little bit better, but there's not much in it. It's they do the same thing. So I suppose the question will be asked, how does this compare with this, the JXD S7800B? Because they do largely the same thing. They're both Android gaming devices with physical controls. I guess the obvious answer is that's smaller. No shit, Sherlock. This, I like the JXD a lot. Ever since I got it, I thought it's a cool piece of kit. But I have a couple of issues with it. Two main ones. One is big. It is. You're not going to put that in your pocket. You're not going to carry it around in your bag. This got used in the living room and would have gone on holiday with me had I gone on holiday any time recently, which I haven't. Yeah, big, heavy, goes through batteries very rapidly. It's something I didn't really appreciate when I initially reviewed it. That was just a power hungry or battery hungry beast, depending what you were doing with it. If you were playing Mega Drive games, it'd last ages. If you were playing Dreamcast, yeah, you could rip through your batteries in about 2 hours flat if you really went for it. This is a totally different thing altogether. Also, the JXD did get kind of hot. This has none of those problems. It's not too big, you know. I love the clamshell kind of design because it protects the controls. You don't feel like you need to put it in a bag or you're going to rip your sticks off. That sounds dodgy. The battery life is brilliant. I mean really brilliant. The day I got this, I charged it up to 100% of the battery, and then I played it, and I played it, and I played it, and I played it. 12 hours solid, and I still had 20% battery life left. So, yeah. What else was I going to... Yeah, it's not too small. Battery life is good. It doesn't get warm like the JXD. You know, I run Android games. They probably actually take less CPU power than the emulators, but I've run Dreamcast on it. PSP emulators. It doesn't get hot. It might get a little bit warm. Mostly the only time I notice it getting warm is when I'm charging the battery. Which it does reasonably quickly. Yeah, so it's just plain nicer, and it's got more power. Probably not a lot. I couldn't I haven't benchmarked it. In the past when I've reviewed these things, I benchmarked them, but in all honesty, I just can't be bothered. But some games will run better. It will run 3DO better than the JXD. Gameplay frame rate is sort of similar, but on the JXD the sound was glitching. It couldn't do graphics and sound together very well. Dreamcast, a whole order of magnitude better, and PSP, yeah, it does PSP better. Again, it might be that the emulators have improved since I last installed them on the JXD, but whatever the case, this does seem to have a bit more power. Anyway, I'm going to move into the other room and show you what it plays like. I'm just thinking I haven't shown you what's on the back. There's actually not a massive amount on the back. I mean, I showed you the switches, but there's other stuff. You've got an HDMI out, you've got a USB, you've got a micro SD, you've got an earphone socket. And somewhere at the front there's a tiny hole there. I can't see it, so I imagine that. I suspect that's a microphone. Yeah. That's it physically anyway. And I'm going to take it in the other room and I'm going to show you what it runs like, because you need to see this. And why am I going in the other room to do that? Better light, and by better I mean less. Yeah, I'm about to break my back doing the whole handheld on camera thing. See you shortly. Okay, so what I want to show you is the emulators that I have installed on this and how well they run. First of all, I've got MAME. It is MAME for Droid 0.139U1. You can find somewhere on the interwebs a complete ROM set of that. It comes in multiple parts. It amounts to 25 gigabytes. That takes a lot of doing. I can't actually remember where I got it from, so it is out there. And on all of these things, really, just don't ask me where you can get them. Google is your friend. And no, I won't send any to you because, well, it's just a pain in the arse really, isn't it? So we've got lots of, what would be a good thing to demonstrate it? I don't know. Some of the games on here I can't quite configure, like the Sega racing games that have a gear control. I can't seem to manage to control the gear control, or the gears, the gear shift. I haven't worked out why. Oh, let's have a bit of Metal Slug, because Metal Slug's great. This is one I use the analog sticks rather than the D-pad on MAME, because the D-pad doesn't seem to want to do the diagonals. It did for a while, or maybe I just kid myself that it did, but it just seems to go up, down, left and right, and is not especially reliable. I ballsed it up a bit, I think, really. Messing around with the controls, trying to configure. What was I trying to configure? Smash TV. Yeah. Can I remember the controls? Yes, I can. Needless to say, it runs super silky smooth. And I just love this game. Give me that. Oh yeah, just burn everyone, why not? Give me that. Fish for dinner. Oh yeah. Want those, whatever they are, money or something. Nope. I remember the first time I played this, it was on an emulator on the PC years ago, and it astounded me to the point that I played Metal Slug 1, 2 and 3 from start to finish, just using 1,000,000,001 continues. Get up there, you fool. Or not, I don't care. There, have that. I'm not sure which button it is. That button then. Yeah, just blow. Oh, you bugger off. Anyway, MAME works very nicely. Let's have a look at... I've got computer emulators here, UAE for Droid and Unreal Speccy. They run as you would expect. They're trying to remember how to do it, on the other hand, is another matter. Where is what? Where is it? Where is it? There's only one game I want to play on here, really. It's kind of clever the way it does it. It types load itself and does all of this. And hey presto. And then you've got to press Y to get the keyboard up. 4 for Kempston joystick and 5 for run. Then press Y and we're off. And I died. 'Cause I'm great. Yeah. Anyway. So there's also there's the Amiga emulator on there as well. I'm not going to load that up because the disk loading, it literally simulates disk loading, and it takes quite a while and decompressing and stuff. And if you've got it running at standard Amiga 500 speeds, which I have just for compatibility with some of those games, it takes a while, and I don't have all day. Handhelds, Game Boy, WonderSwan, the DS emulator is particularly good. I'll show you that in a minute. Master Gear, that plays Master System. PPSSPP. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at the SDS. God, remember what it's called. Alright, we'll load new game because I've got nothing there to continue. I'm going to turn down the volume because I don't want to get hit with copyright for running this. You can alter how your screens are displayed. Back button, and then you can choose, where is it, this screen layout. So you can have two equally sized screens next to each other, or one bigger and a smaller one next to it. And you can have landscape or stretch screen or whatever you want to call it. I have the biggish screen and the little one next to it, and you can switch them round, you know, and choose which one you want to be big and which you want to be small. Personally, I have the yes, here we go. Of course, I'm thinking it's not working. It's just that I've got the sound turned down. Duh. Single player, okay, that's what we want to do. The sound will be perfectly normal and nice and sound as you would expect. I've just got it down because Nintendo, I mean, they're just arsey about these things. Can't remember the controls. That one will do. But you will see it plays beautifully. And I've played plenty of other DS games on it as well. I mean, you do have that problem that some screens really do require you to have the two screens and the touch controls on the other. I just generally avoid those. You can play them, but you kind of have to either have two small screens or switch between them. And some of them, you want that vertical arrangement, and then you could kind of hold the thing on its side, but I can't be bothered with that, so I just don't play those games. And here I am not using the shoulder buttons because it's just too damned awkward while recording, but you know, yeah, that demonstrates that very nicely, I think. So, other handhelds. The Atari Lynx one is disappointing, to be honest. I've used various different cores on it, and I can't remember. select. There we go. It just doesn't look great. It's too crisp. The Lynx has a pretty horrible screen, so it doesn't matter that the resolution of the games are kind of chunky, shall we say. Also, it doesn't seem to fit the whole screen on. You see, everything's kind of off the bottom here, and I haven't found a way of fixing that. I don't know what that's all about. So yeah, the Lynx emulator is not great, if I'm honest. I'm not a fan of that one. I've just got it there because I can. GBA Emu, whatever, that works brilliantly. NGP Emu, that also works brilliantly. Wonder Droid, I probably should show you all of them, but my poor back. I will show you the PSP emulator. This one is patchy, to be honest. Not, but it works super smooth on some games like this. Come on, just get on with it. Yeah, that's really, it's lovely. I love this game. You need the sound, you really do. So that works great. However, no, we don't want to do that. Exit to menu. And also Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories works well. I wouldn't say it's a perfect frame rate, but it's pretty decent. But Gran Turismo, we'll wait for it to load and you'll see. Okay, here we are in an Alfa Romeo at Monaco, and we've got an internal view, and as you can see, I've tweaked this for like frame rate and everything I can do to try and optimize it, and it's not great. Neither's my driving, but I can't get a decent frame rate out of this game, so I have to say I'm a little bit gutted, because you know me and Gran Turismo, I love it. But PSP Gran Turismo is just not going to be a thing. So really, some games on that emulator work well and some don't, and it's really pot luck. Then we have the home consoles. EPSXE, that works really well. That's the PlayStation emulator. Mega Drive 1, yeah, you're not going to do badly on that. Loads of emulators of that. That one there is the best, MDMU. 2600 and NES, well, yeah, you can't go wrong with them. The SNES one, I've got Super Retro 16. I paid for that one. I think there is a free version, but I tried is that the one I settled on in the end? I think it is. Yes. Trying to get Mario Kart to run smoothly is like trying 1,000,001 different emulators. And the issue I had with this actually isn't the way it plays the games. It plays them brilliantly. It's that I've got over 1,000 ROMs in there and I don't like the way it indexes them. It's pretty, it really is, but it won't let you maintain your file structure in terms of having them in folders alphabetically to save having to do this. That's just a bit stupid. I'm looking for it now. Oh, it's in S, isn't it? Oh, wait, yes it is. Because it's Super Mario Kart. God. There we go. Yeah. Oh, I saved this mid-game or something. well, I didn't so much save it as I just banged out, and it saves the state as you leave. But you can restart, but you can pick it up where you left off if you want to, which is nice. So I mean, yeah, in terms of emulation, this is the best SNES one that I came across. I tried others, there are others, and they will play most games really well, but it's like, it's Mario Kart, it's got to be able to play that well for me. So this is the emulator I use. I've forgotten what it's called already, but you saw it just a moment ago. Yeah, so there's that. What was that? Super Retro 16. Not free, but worth paying for. N64 is always worth a look. Mupen 64. What have we got in there? Okay, since I was asked, how well does it play GoldenEye? I don't have this layout key joystick thingy optimized at all for this game. As you can see, I don't even know what the bloody... Yeah, where's the fire button? No idea. There it is. Yeah, I can't really do this. The controls are not arranged. Now we get some glitching on the sky there. It's like there are clouds, but they don't move. Yeah, okay, let's trying to think. I don't remember. That's how we do that. Game. Cruising USA glitches a little bit. Cruising World plays really nicely when you're controlling it. There we go. That's lovely. Mario Kart 64 works brilliantly on here. So, you know, it is one of those, not every game is perfect. There are different cores, graphics cores, that you can load up and try them out. You'll get different results on different games. There are lots of different options that you can tinker with. So some games might not work brilliantly right out of the box, but tinker with it and you can get good results. That's Mupen 64. Now here's one, 3DO. I only want one game on this, and that is, can't remember if I can get rid of the on-screen controls, possibly not. Need for Speed, original Need for Speed. I love it. I can't tell you how much I like this. It is my favourite Need for Speed game. I'm not a fan of the Need for Speed franchise at all, but I played this on a 3DO, I don't know, 25 years ago or however long ago it was. It was a long time ago, and I was gobsmacked. And it was the handling of the cars that got me. It just seemed so realistic. They had weight. And even when they did Need for Speed on the PS1 a couple of years later, it just wasn't as good. I mean, the frame rate's better on that game and stuff like that, but it just doesn't feel as good as this. So when I found there was a working 3DO emulator for Android, well, I just had to have me some of that. Now, the last thing I want to show you, I've got to turn the sound down for this because they are fussy about this. Now this is the RAIcast or RAIcast emulator. It emulates the Dreamcast. You will notice maybe there are some strange graphical things going on, like here and here. It has on-screen control overlays that you can't get rid of, which is pretty bloody annoying, to be honest. Those controls are stored in a graphics file that you can get to, and if you replace it with a 1 pixel thing, you get rid of the visual buttons. You're still left with like placeholders, but they're a lot less obtrusive. And here I am playing like a numpty. But yeah, Res, Dreamcast, on a handheld. It's epic. It makes this handheld the best thing in the world. I mean, this game, you need the sound, and I have turned it down. I'm just showing you that it works. But there's more, because RAIcast, whatever it's called, it doesn't play everything. It's kind of here we go. I've got the sound down again because copyright, and if there's music on here, I can't remember if there is, but it's always the music that they pick up on. But yes, Daytona on a handheld, running brilliantly. I mean, the steering, I've always found the steering on Daytona, be it on the Saturn or the Dreamcast, and even on the PS3. It's tolerable on the PS3, I guess, but it's what I don't like the steering on this game, but I do like that I can play it on here, and for some people this will just be like a killer app, if you like. So I thought I would show it. But yes, on RAIcast, whatever, is very hit and miss. Some things will work, some things won't. ISO zone is where you will get the stuff that runs on this. I can tell you that just because I can remember it off of the top of my head. It will run file formats CDI, GDI, and something else that I can't remember. And that site has them in those formats, and most of them, a lot of them work, some of them don't. I've taken my hands off the controls, that's why I'm crashing. Yeah, so that is just epic, and I like it a lot. And then you've obviously got your standard Android games. Real Racing 2 is very nice. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Sonic Racing, Pew Pew. That's kind of like what's it called? Geometry Wars. Twin stick shooter, very nice. So yes, this is a fantastic piece of kit. I can't actually tell you what it cost because Andrea got it for me for my birthday. It came from China. You can buy them in the UK from certain outlets. They will cost more. This was bought on eBay. It was from a seller with 100% feedback, so it's like, yeah, okay. And it didn't take that long to arrive either. A week or two, something like that. It wasn't an immense amount of time to get here. In terms of, okay, I have one concern with this. It's something I heard about and then it happened to me this morning. I turned it off last night, I put it on charge, and this morning I took it off charge and turned it on, and it did not boot. It black screened, and I had heard about this and I freaked because I thought I've killed it. I could tell that it wasn't dead, because the black screen is not, it's on, it's just there's nothing on it. You can see there's a little bit of light, and if you push the button again and hold it, it goes completely off. But it doesn't boot, and I was like, oh shit. And I googled and found all kinds of things like, oh, you need to reflash it, or you've bricked it, and all kinds of scary stuff, and I thought, my god. I thought I'd killed it. What I did, just to see what happened, was I turned it off and I plugged it back into the power. I plugged the charger back into it, and it showed the battery charging light, you know, the little icon of a battery with the power going up. So I knew the screen worked, I knew there was some kind of life in it, at which point I pushed the on button again and it booted as normal. Panic over, but I don't know what it was that caused it to happen, so I'm like, okay, how can I stop that happening again? I'm not sure. I'm thinking I'm not going to turn it off when I put it on charge. I'm thinking I'll just turn off the screen and charge it and just never turn it off. maybe. That was a little worry. But other than that, this thing is bloody amazing. And let's just zoom back out. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. We ain't got enough light for you to see it now anyway. How's that? Not much better. Whatever. GPD XD Android gaming handheld. Look what's behind it. Yay. Awesome. Highly recommended. Little scare with the booting aside. I think this thing's fantastic. Thank you for watching. I'm going to go and play some games now.
Right. Hit the subscribe button or I'm getting naked on camera. Go on. Do it. Right. You asked for it. Ah! You asked for it. Ha! Ha! Oh.